Famous people and celebrities who passed away in 1971 in the United States. This is the second episode. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Harold Lloyd, he was born in April 1893 and he died in March 1971. His age was 77 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Harold Lloyd was an American actor, comedian, and stunt performer who appeared in many silent comedy films, one of the most influential film comedians of the silent era. Lloyd made nearly 200 comedy films, both silent and talkies, from 1914 to 1947. His bespectacled, glasses character was a resourceful, ambitious go-getter who reflected the zeitgeist of the 1920s era United States. His films frequently contained thrill sequences of extended chase scenes and daredevil physical feats. Lloyd, hanging from the hands of a clock high above the street, dangerous but risky, exaggerated by camera angles in Safety Last in 1923, is considered one of the more enduring images in cinema. Lloyd performed lesser stunts himself despite having injured himself in August 1919 while doing publicity pictures for the Road Studio. An accident with the bomb mistaken as a prop resulted in the loss of the thumb and index finger of his right hand. The injury was disguised on future films with use of a special prosthetic glove, and it was almost undetectable on screen. Philo Farnsworth, he was born in August 1906 and he died in March 1971. His age was 64 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was pneumonia. Philo Farnsworth was an American inventor and television pioneer. He made the critical contributions to electronic television that made possible modern electronic video. He is best known for his 1927 invention of the first fully functional all-electronic image pickup device, video camera tube, the image dissector, as well as the first fully functional and complete all-electronic television system. Farnsworth developed a television system complete with receiver and camera, which he produced commercially through the Farnsworth Television and Radio Corporation from 1938 to 1951 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. In later life, Farnsworth invented a small nuclear fusion device, the Farnsworth fuser, employing inertial electrostatic confinement (ICE). Like many fusion devices, it was not a practical device for generating nuclear power, although it provides a viable source of neutrons. The design of this device has been the inspiration for other fusion approaches, including the Polywell reactor concept. Farnsworth held 300 patents, mostly in radio and television. J.C. Flippen, he was born in March 1899 and he died in February 1971. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and he died during surgery of an aneurysm of an artery. He was an American character actor who often played crusty surgeons, police officers, or weary criminals in many 1940s and 1950s pictures, particularly in film noir. Before his motion picture career, he was a leading vaudeville comedian and master of ceremonies. He began performing as a stand-up comedian in burlesque, vaudeville, and minstrel shows, which made him a natural in obtaining roles in occasional slapstick and light musical comedy. He was discovered by famed African-American comedian Bert Williams in 1920 and was Williams' Broadway understudy and tour replacement for the 1920 musical review, Broadway Braveties. He called himself the Ham What Am, and his occasional blackface roles included those as Williams' replacement. Flippen attended the most coveted booking in vaudeville, headlining at the Palace Theatre in New York 6 times between March 1926 and February 1931. At one time, he was a radio announcer for New York Yankees games and was one of the first game show announcers. Between 1924 and 1929, Philippon recorded more than 30 songs for Columbia, Perfect, and Brunswick. James Cash Penney. He was born in September 1875 and he died in February 1971. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. He was an American businessman and entrepreneur who founded the J.C. Penney stores in 1902. In 1898, Penney began working for a small chain of stores in the western United States called Golden Rule Store. In 1902, owners Guy Johnson and Thomas Callahan, impressed by his work ethic and salesmanship, offered him a one-third partnership in a new store he would open. Penney invested $2,000 and moved to Cameron, Wyoming, to open a store there. He participated in opening 2 more stores, and when Callahan and Johnson dissolved their partnership in 1907, he purchased full interest in all 3 stores. By 1912, there were 34 stores in the Rocky Mountain states. In 1913, he moved the company to the Cairns Building in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. The company was incorporated under the new name J.C. Penney Company. In 1916, he began to expand the chain east of the Mississippi River, and during the 1920s, the Penney Company expanded nationwide with 120 stores in 1920, most of which were still in the West. By 1924, Penney reported income of more than $1 million annually. Adolph A. Burl. He was born in January 1895 and he died in February 1971. His age was 76 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Adolph A. Burl was an American lawyer, educator, writer, and diplomat. He was the author of The Modern Corporation and Private Property, a groundbreaking work on corporate governance, a professor at Columbia University, and an important member of the United States President Franklin Roosevelt's Brain Trust. Burl was an original member of Franklin D. Roosevelt Brain Trust, a group of advisors who developed policy recommendations. Burl's focuses ranging from economic recovery to diplomatic strategy. During Roosevelt's 1932 election campaign, Roosevelt's Commonwealth Club Address, a speech written by Burl on government involvement in industrial and economic policies. He was ranked in 2000 as the second best presidential campaign speeches of the 20th century by public address scholars, while remaining an informal advisor to Roosevelt after the election. Burl returned to New York City and became a key consultant in the successful mayoral election campaign of reformer Fiorello LaGuardia. From 1934 to 1938, Burl managed the city's fiscal affairs as its last chamberlain. Bill W. He was born in November 1895 and he died in January 1971. His age was 75 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was emphysema complicated by pneumonia. Bill W. was the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous AA with Bob Smith. AA is an international mutual aid fellowship with about 2 million members worldwide belonging to AA groups, associations, organizations, cooperatives, and fellowships of alcoholics, helping other alcoholics achieve and maintain sobriety. Following AA's 12th tradition of anonymity, Wilson is commonly known as Bill W. or Bill to identify each other. Members of AA will sometimes ask other if they are friends of Bill after Wilson's death, and amidst controversy within the fellowship, his full name was included in obituaries by journalists who were unaware of the significance of maintaining anonymity within the organization. Wilson's sobriety from alcohol, which he maintained until his death, began in December 11, 1934. In 1955, Wilson turned over control of AA to Board of Trustees. Wilson died in 1971 of emphysema from smoking tobacco complicated by pneumonia. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.